All right, here's how it goes. Tonight, Panthers preseason game against the Browns. It's Tetairoa McMillan's debut in an NFL game. It's preseason, but it's I'm sure it feels real. It's a dress rehearsal, right? The uniforms are real. The stadium is real. The fans are real. I was watching the games last night, and I don't know what you're supposed to do as an announcer, but like a young guy scores or a young guy gets an interception, and the announcers, his first touchdown in an NFL game. And I'm like, well, all right, yeah, because what are you supposed to do? Like, you don't want to downplay the moment. His first touchdown in an NFL game that nobody will remember because it's preseason, but it looks cool. So I acknowledge that this isn't like the true debut, but also I acknowledge that the preseason might not be more important for any group of players more than the rookies. And Tetairoa McMillan and the rest of the Panthers rookies have a chance to earn more responsibility, build more confidence in themselves from within, like their self-confidence and team confidence. The thing that Tetairoa McMillan has done a really good job throughout camp of is flashing the stuff that makes him special often enough to combat the plays that make you worry. Right? He has a day like the Fan Fest where apparently anyone that he went up against was pretty much able to jam him at the line of scrimmage and make his day difficult. But for every one of those days, he has a couple days where he's making tough catches in the end zone, where he's taking those same players that were able to jam him up at the line and making highlight catches over them down the field in different scenarios. I hope that continues tonight. I, by no reason, expect a perfect night from Tetairoa McMillan. We might think it is, right? Because if he only plays 8 to 12 plays or whatever the starters play, right, 1 or 2 drives, he might only have 2 passes thrown his way. If he catches them both, it'll seem perfect. But I guarantee you, if that wide receiver coach watches the film, he'll find plenty that he did wrong. I don't expect perfect. But I would like enough of the special to outweigh the non-perfect. And here's the other thing that comes with those special plays. I want, in this offense, based on his ability to make something out of nothing, his ability to catch passes that shouldn't be caught, his ability to make a catch, and he did this on like the first day of practice, may have even been minicamp, where he caught it and instinctively, like he didn't have time to think, it just happened, caught a crossing route, spin, jamming the circle button for those of you that play PlayStation, hit the spin move as soon as he caught it, made the guy miss, got upfield for yak. His ability to do those sorts of things makes me want McMillan, to be Bryce Young's safety blanket. Right? When it's 3rd down and 12 and the game is near the end, or it's 4th down and 12 and the game is near the end, and you realize, all right, I don't have any great options here. Which happens as a quarterback, right? Nobody's wide open. Or when the play was designed to be open, I had to scramble so I couldn't get the pass off. Now I need to give somebody a chance. I want that to be Tetairoa McMillan. But the only way for Bryce to have that same instinctive decision-making to look towards him first is if over time McMillan makes more of those plays. Right, you throw him a 50-50 ball, he makes the catch. You throw him a 50-50 ball, he makes the catch. You throw him a 50-50 ball, he makes the catch. Now, like your brain is trained in those high-pressure moments. All right, I'm going to have to throw someone a 50-50 ball. How about I go to this guy who catches them most often? That can happen in the preseason. Or even this, I threw a bad ball, and he became a defensive player and knocked it down rather than letting it get intercepted. So now I can trust him to have my back. I'll be more comfortable throwing it to him. Dave Canales, the head coach, talked about the connection between Bryce Young and Tetairoa McMillan.
I love the chemistry that they're developing. I think that, especially down the field, Bryce has been giving, T-Mac a lot of opportunities, a lot of shots down the field to figure out where can I put this, where he's going to be able to get his hands on it, and on the play that he had a touchdown that he dropped today, and he was kind of running a corner route, and Bryce kind of, instead of leading him to the back pylon, Bryce kind of threw it right behind the defender, and I think that was a new one. for T-Mac, because he was like, oh, shoot, this is a good spot for it. Bryce kind of saw it. So I was excited about that. Bryce turned around to me. We're both smiling, and we would love him to catch that ball. He will. But I love just taking those attempts down the field just because it's just the me to you factor, learning new skill players within our scheme.
You make tough catches in preseason, the coach and quarterback will trust you to make tough catches in the regular season. So that's where, does if you win the preseason matter? No. But if Tetairoa McMillan makes a couple plays or makes a play or doesn't make those plays, that could impact how things are play called down the line, especially if you're up against, no offense to whoever the Browns are, players that are just not physically there as far as talent level with Tetairoa McMillan, right? If the Browns aren't playing their starters, McMillan as the 8th overall pick should be some level above them. Other rookies, Nick Scorton, if he plays, he's been battling a bit of an injury, but I believe he practiced on Wednesday, so maybe he gets a limited run, not sure. 2nd-round pick edge rusher. And Princely McMillan, the 3rd-round edge rusher they drafted. I'm looking for their physicality to pop, right? They were drafted for their physical traits in a lot of ways, Scorton being kind of powerful and speed, and then Princely with even more speed. I want to see him pop. Who knows how many opportunities they'll get, but if there's a pass rushing situation where they get to pin their ears back and they're on the field, I expect them to collapse the pocket. That's why they were picked. And also that's the thing that requires the least amount of transition. In basketball, Max, I know you're a big NBA guy. Notoriously, I don't know if it's still the truth, but right when the analytics movement was brand new in basketball, I remember this was a Paul Millsap stat, so Louisiana Tech. They learned that they called them the stickiest. One of the stickiest stats was rebounding. If you were a great rebounder in college, that translated at a very high probability compared to other sports or other stats. So Millsap, even though he was in whatever it was, the WAC at the time, was rebounding like a madman. And then he got to the NBA and pretty much immediately was able to rebound, and that sparked this whole thing on this stat doesn't take a lot of adjustment, but assists do, because point guard's got to figure out the new game, the faster defenders, and everything else.
It's kind of the same thing with a lot of prospects when it comes to shooting. People say it's better to look at their free throw percentage instead of their three-point percentage, because the free throw percentage is a better indicator of shooting success in the future.
I would think if you look at college edge rushers, the pure get after the quarterback, that translates because there's not a lot of thinking there, right? There's not a lot of memorizing a new system. See ball, get ball is see ball, get ball, and from Pop Warner all the way on up. Beat the guy in front of you, get after the quarterback. I want to see that. Trevor Etienne, 4th-round pick. This one, and running backs are all this way. Most running backs, especially if you're drafted, you have something special about you with the ball in your hands. You have good instincts, you have speed, you can catch, right? Whatever your thing is, you're pretty good at it, right? Or else you wouldn't have been drafted. It's actually very difficult to get drafted as a running back. So fourth round pick running back, you do something very well with the ball in your hands. The thing that gets you on the field more often is how good are you in pass protection? How good are you in knowing who you should be blocking in pass protection? How willing are you to throw your body between a freight train and the quarterback? You make those mistakes, you're not going to get on the field no matter how good you are as a runner. So Etienne, I would love to see a highlight run or two, but really it's about the other details first and then how good you are with the ball in your hands. Elsewhere, Lathan Ransom, Mitchell Evans, that's a safety fourth round pick, and a tight end 5th-round pick. Go get that job. Right? There are routes to be – there are routes – I'm talking Mitchell Evans for the tight end. There are routes, there are snaps, there are blocking reps. Ransom, I don't know who's going to be the free safety for the majority of the season for the Panthers.
That's a position group where you could make a really big impact because they're pretty thin at safety. So if you can put some good tape out there, that could be really good heading into the season.
Show you're a gamer, right? And as much as coaches say, we're going to evaluate everything, like – if you're great in the 3 preseason games, it's very hard to say, yeah, but you haven't been as good on Wednesdays. It's if you're great in the games, you'll probably get a shot in the real games. Cam Jackson, big guy, 6th round pick, defensive tackle. Trust your power. You're big and strong. Just continue to do that. We probably won't notice many interior defensive line reps. Jimmy Horn Jr., 6th round pick.
He's the one I'm most excited to potentially see.
Keep making plays. He's having his moment right now in camp as a wide receiver. But really, I want to see him get going if he gets a chance to return. Punt return, kick return. His teammate, LeJontay Wester at Colorado, they were all at Colorado with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Wester returned a punt for a touchdown yesterday for the Ravens. It felt as he was running, just made the roster, just took the return job, right? Like now he starts with an opportunity to have the ball in his hands a couple times a game, week 1 as a rookie. You make a run like your teammate. You make that move, you return a kick for a touchdown, you get a 60-yarder to set the team up on in the red zone, something like that. You could legitimately guarantee yourself a role week 1. And he's fast and all that, so there's other things to be excited about. The Panthers preseason game tonight versus the Browns. That's just rookies. That's all we're looking for just from the rookies. And that's not even including undrafted rookie free agents, just the draft picks. Who says preseason doesn't matter? There's so much going on.
Live coverage of that game available on our sister station, Mix 101.5, pregame starting at 6 o'clock.
There you go. So do not leave a minute before the end of this show, but then you can go over there and catch the pregame.